Our next speaker is Byron Gray.
Good evening. Byron Gray, 219 Sickles Avenue. I am here as the president of Local 273 this evening. First, I'd like to thank you for your kind words, the previous speakers. Thank you very much for your support. I have a prepared statement, and that's why I have a lot of points I want to cover. So, good evening to all members of City Council, Mayor Bramson, City Manager Strom, and other members of City Management present. Every so often, it becomes necessary for the leadership of the Firefighters Union to come before City Council to address this matter of manpower. Tonight I do so as President of Local 273 and in response to the city's threat to eliminate up to 16 firefighter positions. It is unfortunate that I have to come here to do this, but we're doing it. My message tonight is clear and simple. Reducing manpower in any way, shape, or form is simply not an option. As you know, 8 firefighter positions currently remain unfilled due to the hiring freeze unilaterally imposed by the City of New Rochelle. This has reduced our overall staffing from 168 to 160. During meetings between union leaders and city management over the last several months, you have made it clear that there is a mandate to reduce staffing in order to balance the budget. The city has clearly stated that in addition to our 8 unfilled positions, an additional 8 firefighters would possibly be laid off. This brings our number down to 152. Do you know that in 1973, this department had 200 firefighters? And at that time, the department responded to approximately 3,000 emergencies per year. Currently, at 160 members, the fire department responds to over 8,000 emergencies per year, reflecting an increase in calls of 350% from 1973. And the scope of our services now includes emergency medical services, weapons of mass destruction training, building collapse, hazardous material intervention, oil and fuel spills, trench, water, and ice rescue, natural gas and carbon monoxide emergencies, just to name a few. Ironically, as we come upon the anniversary of 9/11, we are pleading to maintain our current manpower, which itself does not enable us to comply with National Fire Protection Agency recommendations. Something is clearly wrong here. The NFPA makes their recommendations because they recognize a direct correlation between increased firefighter injury, increased civilian death and injury, and increased property damage when operating with fewer firefighters. The current leaders of this department can tell you that the fire department still has not recovered from layoffs that occurred in the mid-1970s. That is over 30 years ago. In fact, there are some current members still on the job that were laid off in the 70s. I have about another paragraph, may I?
Yes.
Layoffs affect a generation and result in reduced department morale, increased threat to firefighter safety, and of course, increased threat to the safety of New Rochelle citizens and their property. 16 positions amount to approximately 10% of the department. It is the responsibility of the council and management of the city to provide and budget for these vital services. In fact, despite a slumping economy, there are no other surrounding communities talking about layoffs of firefighters in 2010. In fact, multiple fire departments are looking to hire additional firefighters. Yonkers is currently hiring upwards of 35. Larchmont hiring 3 to 4.
That's a heck of a paragraph, Byron.
But I'm getting to it. That's a question that needs to be answered as well. We don't want to rely on mutual aid, and that's another issue. We need to do it with the manpower that we have in New Rochelle. And in closing, we request that you consider all that you have heard and will hear tonight when making decisions that affect the safety of the citizens, firefighters, and the community as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. Our next